Shabbat Shalom. It's always nice to enter Shabbat with song and a little Abraham Joshua Heschel. Time is like a wasteland, he writes. It has grandeur, but no beauty. Its strange, frightful power is always feared, but rarely cheered. Then we arrive at the seventh day, and the Sabbath is endowed with a felicity which enraptures the soul, which glides into our thoughts with a healing sympathy. It is a day on which hours do not oust one another. It is a day that can soothe all sadness away. Let's see if we can use this Shabbat to soothe all sadness away.
Beautiful. Before we get started, I want to tell you about something very exciting that's going to be happening here this Sunday. We are having a very, very special concert as part of our TIOH Arts and Culture series. We are hosting the LA Jewish Symphony in a wonderful program of music by women composers with wonderful soloists and a beautiful orchestra and amazing composers. And I want to welcome tonight Dr. Noreen Green, who is the conductor of the LA Jewish Symphony. And here is a mic for you. She's just going to say a word about this concert.
Hi, first of all, Shabbat Shalom, and thank you for having me here, Cantor Shelley and Rabbi. We just finished our first rehearsal in your gorgeous sanctuary, which I have had the pleasure of participating and conducting in for many years, a long time ago with Cantor Aviva. Wonderful. And with Leonard Nimoy, actually. So it's so wonderful to be back, and it's so wonderful to play live music. And I would like to invite you all to our concert on Sunday at 7:30, Women's Voices, Women's Souls. And all the composers are women. And the singers, we have two fabulous singers, Hila Plitman, who's a Grammy Award-winning soprano, and Iris Malkin, who is on the faculty of UCLA. And we are so thrilled to be here at Temple Israel of Hollywood. And I'd like to just recognize one of the composers is here, visiting from Philadelphia, Andrea Clearfield. And you'll hear 5 excerpts of a piece that she wrote called Women of Valor. And we were here last night with the women's group, and we were here yesterday afternoon with your 6th graders, and we're just delighted to be part of the opening up of the world.
Indeed.
Come live. We do have a free live stream, but I got to tell you, playing for live people, as everybody up here can attest to, Absolutely. Is the best. Thank you so much, and Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you so much. All right. Let's do a little more. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. La 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 la
Shalom Aleichem, page 11.
Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bochem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, השרת מלאכי עליון מי מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש הקדוש ברוך הוא ברכוני לשלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי עליון מי מלך מלאכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שלום עליכם שלום עליכם מלאכי השרת מלאכי עליון מי מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש הקדוש ברוך הוא זכרם לשלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי עליון מי מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שלום עליכם שלום עליכם מלאכי השרת מלאכי עליון מי מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש הקדוש ברוך הוא
It's my pleasure to call on Graham and Noah and their families. This week's B'nai Mitzvah. That's Aya over there. Thank you for applauding. Sorry. Graham and Noah, please come. Bring your families up as we honor you becoming B'nai Mitzvah this weekend. So somebody can do whoever's comfortable. You can do it if you guys feel comfortable. They take the matches. Your mom and dad's job. Somebody can wipe your feet.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת.
Chadodi, page 29.
Lecha Dodi, Bikrat Kala, Bene Shabbat, Kabbalat, Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Ishmiyanu el ha'echad, Adonai echad, U'shemo echad. lecha dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat lekabela likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha ki mekor haberacha berosh mikerem lesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila lecha dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat lekabela hitoreri ki ba'orech kumi ori uri shildaveri kavod Adonai alayich nigla lecha dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat lekabela. Please rise, boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala gam b'simcha u'b'tzola toch emunei yom segula boi chala lecha dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat lekabela lecha dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat lekabela. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Baruchu et Adonai hamevorach Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam vaed hamevorach leolam vaed.
Please be seated. A poem for October, surely written in a different climate, but nonetheless tells us something about nature, about God's green earth, and the instincts it arouses within us. Something told the wild geese. Something told the wild geese it was time to go. Though the fields lay golden, something whispered, snow. Leaves were green and stirring, berries luster glossed, but beneath the warm feathers, something cautioned, frost. All the sagging orchard streamed with amber spice, but each wild beast stiffened and remembered ice. Something told the wild geese it was time to fly. Summer sun was on their wings, winter in their cry. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim.
Ahavat olam beit Yisrael amcha ahavta amcha ahavta אהבתך תסיר ממנו לעולמי. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. 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 ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Mi Chamocha, page 81.
La 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 לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל עוד היא לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל עוד היא לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
This week's parsha is Lech Lecha, and you'll hear a lot more about that later on. But it is about traveling. And traveling sometimes takes place on the outside, like taking a plane from, New York to LA, or there's nothing really in the middle of the country, is there? Chicago, there is. There's Chicago. But traveling is also an internal journey. And so before we rise for the Amidah this evening, which we'll do on our own, just take a moment to center yourselves and think about perhaps a person that you spoke to this week that pointed you on your own personal journey. Some conversation, it could have even been at the supermarket, or a close friend, or someone you haven't spoken to in a while, or just someone that you bumped into on the street. And just take a moment to honor that encounter and honor the trajectory that it might have put you on. We're on page 87. Let's rise for the Amidah. We face east. Svatai tiftach, ufi yagid, ufi yagid tehilatecha, Adonai, svatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilate. page 92.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. 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 Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'necha levaret et Amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
We always end our Amidah with a prayer for shalom, a prayer for wholeness, completeness, peace. And we transition into the Mishaberach, a prayer for peace, but peace of the body and peace of the soul. It's a prayer for healing, a Mishaberach. And before we offer the Mishaberach for those in our community who are struggling with physical illness, mental illness, those who are going through a divorce or depression, those who are struggling in one way or another, if you would turn to the people around you and just share who you're thinking of at this moment, who you're holding in your heart as we offer a Mishaberach prayer. Just turn to them and share a name, share a relationship. Page 239.
Avotenu mekol habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha la'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Blessed are you, Adonai, who heals the sick.
We have an unbelievable array of celebrations on this Shabbat. It is really such an honor to be here with all of you tonight. We're going to contextualize each of these within the Torah portion. So I want to start by talking just a little bit about Abraham and the promise that he's given in Lech Lecha, that your descendants will be as numerous as the stars, that you will have descendants. And a moment comes where Abraham turns to God and says, I was promised descendants. Where are they? And God says, take a step outside and look around. So the first thing I want to say is that whenever we have a problem, that's a good starting place. Take a step outside and look around. In fact, I recall learning on a wilderness course that when you get lost, the first thing to do is not consult your compass or even your map. The first thing to do is be outside and look around, identify some landmarks. In specific, God tells Abraham to look up at the stars in the sky. And God says, can you count them? See if you can count them. That's how numerous your descendants will be. And we often understand that to be a lesson in numbers and a lesson in faith. You think you're not going to have descendants. Just look, you're going to have that many descendants. Of course you can't count the stars. They're going to be so numerous, nobody can count them. But I think it's possible that it's actually a lesson in awe. And when we think about our children, one of the things that they teach us is wonder and awe, and how profound and important it is to do things like stepping outside, looking up, and noticing the stars. I'm going to ask Kim and Ron and Barbara and Eric and Loretta and beautiful Aya to please come up here. Hi there. I'm so glad you're enjoying the service. We usually ask people not to applaud, but if you're 16 months old, all bets are off. Yeah, that's right. That's absolutely legit. And I know that you have already brought your parents and your grandparents and your entire community a great sense of wonder and awe. So it's an honor and a pleasure to welcome you to the Jewish community officially with these words. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'imotenu. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, you be with your dad. That's right. Kayemet hayalda hazot le'avia ve'le'ima v'yikareh shema b'Yisrael Aya bat Ron Moshe v'Kim. ישמח האב ביוצא חלצה ותגל עמו בפרי ויתנה. זאת הקטנה הגדולה תהיה, כשם שנכנסה לברית, כן תיכנס לתורה, לחופה ולמעשים טובים. O God, God of our ancestors, sustain this beautiful child through her parents' loving care. Let her be known among our people Israel by the name Aya, daughter of Ron, Moshe, and Kim. May her name be a source of joy to her and inspire her to serve all people and all of humanity. May her parents rejoice in her growth of body and soul. As they have brought her to the covenant, so may they, with wisdom and patience and laughter and joy, lead her to a life filled with Torah, the blessings of learning and community, chuppah, loving relationships worthy of God's blessing, and masim tovim, the pursuit of good deeds. And together we say, Amen. And I've asked her parents to say a few words to her that we're all going to get to eavesdrop on.
Dear Aya, you are named after your great-grandma Ada. She lived until 104, and she was very tough. She was a native Angelino, like you, and a woman of strong opinions, like you. You have a lot of strong people in your family, including your great-grandma Nietzsche, watching on Zoom, and your grandparents Barbara, Eric, and Loretta, who are here tonight.
Aya is in the Torah and means to take flight in ancient Hebrew. It also means honey buzzard in modern Hebrew, which we just learned. And Aya, you're totally a cute little carnivorous bird. We are very excited to bring you to your first in-person Shabbat service here at TIOH. You are so lucky to have such an amazing community of family and friends. We love you and are so proud of you.
We're going to have you all back up in just a few minutes, but for now, please join me in saying Mazal Tov. You guys can have a seat. We'll be back. Thank you so much.
So Aya just got her Hebrew name. The first person in the Hebrew Bible to be named was, we know, Adam, right? And Adam actually is a curious word because it shares the root with the word Adamah, which means earth or soil. Because we are earthly beings, we're from the ground. We're rich and full and complex with minerals that are ever changing. Adam is also a gender-neutral word. You see, in chapter 1 of Genesis, it says, and God created Adam in God's image. In the image of God, Adam was created. Male and female, God created them. Because this first verse is in the singular of Adam, and then says that that Adam is male and female, our commentators teach that the first person was neither male or female, but actually both. Embodied both male-leaning tendencies, and I put that in quotes because that's all created by society, and female-leaning tendencies. It's interesting, actually, that years ago there used to be girls' names and boys' names, but I just met a woman rabbi named Michael, and one of my close friends is another woman rabbi named Sean. And think of the proliferation of gender-neutral names today for babies: Jordan, Sterling, Jesse. You have no idea what gender these names are. Our first Jewish ancestor, Avram, was originally named Avram and later became Abraham. And in this week's Torah portion, as Rabbi Chernow mentioned, God tells Avram to leave his home. Lech lecha, God says, leave your land, your birthplace, your father's land, to a place that I will show you. And the words lech lecha are often, I think, and many commentators think, sort of narrowly translated as just go. But it also, as you may know, means lech lecha, go to yourself, lecha. And it's a wonder that Abraham actually listened to God. Why would a person move away from their homeland, their father's house, the place that they know, and go to a new place? Rashi teaches that, well, because there was a reward. God told Abraham or Avram that he would be a great nation, his name would be great, and he'd be blessed. But the Nitivot Shalom, who died in the year 2000 in Jerusalem, the Slonomer Rebbe, he taught that Avram actually responded out of love. Love of self, love of God, love of clarity. He responded to a deep inner calling. Maybe you've heard that kind of inner calling in your life. Something that tugs at you, that pulls at you, that urges you to take that next step along your journey in a way that's even unexpected or surprising. And then you actually listen to that inner voice without needing to know the details or what lay ahead for you, or even the benefits or general purpose. There's a midrash that says that Avram is compared to a vial of perfume, closed with a tight lid, lying in the corner of the room, so that its fragrance wasn't disseminated at all. And however, once it was shaken up and the lid was removed, the beautiful fragrance of Avram spread throughout the world. And each one of us also has that beautiful fragrance within us. But we need to shake ourselves up sometimes and open that vial and let our perfume emanate throughout the world. Avram models for us this spiritual practice of courage, of opening up. And it's hard to do, and therefore it also increases compassion. for those people we know who are going through an opening and a change. So once Avram leaves his childhood home, God changes his name, to Abraham, a new name representing a new person he becomes in the journey of his own becoming. Jacob also went through a name change from Yaakov to Yisrael, from one who's holding on to the heel of his brother Yaakov, to Yisrael, one who steps up with his whole self and wrestles with God. And since that day, we Jews are called Yisrael, literally God wrestlers. So Alexandra, come on up. You have come here before our community, before TIOH, before the Jewish world, to mark your name change. You're not the first to undergo a name change, and you won't be the last. Like Yisrael, your new name represents the person you have become and all that you have overcome to become who you are. All of your courageous wrestling and struggling have brought you to this sacred moment. Like Avraham, your new name, Alexandra, represents your own journey toward yourself. Like Yisrael, your new name represents a tie to the past and a leap forward to a new future. The Maggid of Mezrich teaches that the reason why Abraham had to leave his father's home and go to the land of Canaan was because he needed to leave the known and enter the messy, the unknown. He had to do this so he could deeply feel the discomfort of something new, in order to bring new radical ideas into the world, which was monotheism at the time. And Alexandra, your celebratory name change reminds us that names matter, that names are a statement of who we are and who we want to be, as messy as that may be, and that names frame ourselves and the world around us as we bring new and radical ideas in the forefront. So may you, Alexandra, may you say your name with pride and with joy. May your name spread like beautiful perfume in the house of Israel and throughout the world. And may you lift up your eyes and envision the world you'd like to create, and feel the safety and security to mold your future in your image, in God's image, in Adam's image, out of the earth, out of who you deeply are. Mazel tov. And we'll call you back as well. And our final blessing is to Lorraine April, who is 100 years old. We are celebrating someone who's 100 years old. The whipped cream on the cake tonight. So, Lorraine, not only are you 100 years old, but your daughter is my next door neighbor, Ellen April, and also a past president of Temple Israel of Hollywood. And when I asked you before, how does someone live to get to 100? Ellen, or Sandy, you want to bring her up now? When I asked you before, how does someone get to live to 100, what did you say?
Joy.
Joy. Incredible, right? She said, you have to laugh in this world. You have to laugh in this world. Well, I have to say, it is incredible that you look so beautiful at 100. And you know, our matriarch Sarah lived until she was 120 or 100-ish. And no, she lived until she was 100. And Rashi says that at 100, she looked as beautiful as if she were 20. So maybe you're related to Sarah in some way. But I think there's something special about the number 100, besides it being like extraordinary. You know how in Hebrew, numbers, words equal numbers, right? It's called gematria. And the word for seas, like the ocean, yamim, adds up to 100. Perhaps to teach that living to 100, Lorraine, you've been like on the seas that go up and down, right? You've had beautiful, wonderful times, and you've had difficult times, I imagine, in your 100 years. And those blessings and those burdens are with you at 100. And also the word mimech, from you, adds up to 100. Perhaps to teach that when you were younger, you needed to rely on others to give to you. And then in your middle age, you gave to others. And now later in life, you reflect back on what was from you, mimech, your gifts and your blessings, and also what was not from you, what was simply luck and God's gift. And finally, the number 100 adds up to the word kelim. And kelim means vessel. And you are that delicate vessel with so much wisdom, and so much wisdom that you still have to offer. But it's up to all of us to learn how to hold you carefully in our arms and to access your blessings. So Lorraine, Mazal Tov. Mazal Tov on turning 100. May all of us here who are younger than you, I would venture to say, learn how to float in the seas of life like you have. May all of us have the wisdom to know that from us is not always the case, and from God is sometimes the case. And may all of us have the patience to hold you, to wonder about your wisdom, and to hold you like a precious, precious vessel. Amen. And now I'd like to call Isla back up, and Rabbi Chernow back up, and Alexandra back up, as we offer together with Shelley Fox a blessing of shalom. So much simcha.
If you're either up here or with us or at home with people you're potting with and you'd like to put your arms around them, this would be a nice moment to do that.
Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
Ken yehi ratzon.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka.
Ken yehi ratzon.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
Ken yehi ratzon.
May God bless you and watch over you.
Go on.
May God's countenance shine upon you. May God be gracious to you. May you always feel God's presence as a source of light and warmth and goodness. May God grant you shalom, shlemut, wholeness, and peace. And we say,
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Mazel tov to all of you at all the stages of your life that you're in. So nice, right? And now before we remember those who are no longer with us, these three people are such an inspiration to us, and They remind us that we stand on the shoulders of so many people who came before us. We spoke about Abraham and Jacob tonight. We spoke about looking into the stars. We spoke about how sacred each of us is, like a vessel. And those who we're remembering also are those sacred vessels that continue to pour perfume onto us, even if they're not here anymore. So this evening, we remember the yahrzeits of Jonah Adderman, Marty Bayer, William Bell, Zebi Bajarski, Aline Cooper, Malvina Friedman, Jerry Gilbert, Patty Glick, Helen Goldhammer, Rhea Goodwin, Samuel Jubileerer, Philip Joel Carlin, Olive Knox, Benjamin Kopf, Leon Lachter, Peggy Land, Ari Landstein, Reba Mazur, Babette Miller, Olga Osterreicher, Sylvia Perlmutter, Fanny Pomerantz, Betty Rivkin, Caleb Rocklin Janzu, Henry Rubin, Helen Schwartzbach, Betty Siegel, Carl Singer, Eleanor Singer, Abramskin, Howard Steinberg, Bonnie Usim, Nancy Weissman, and Judy Zager. Also during these past 30 days of Shloshim, we've laid to rest Miriam Stern, the mother of Stephen Katcher, Al Sislowski, the father of Joe Sislowski, Shana Cooperman, the grandmother of Julie Cooperman. And just this past week, we've laid to rest Hannah Glicksman, the aunt of Michael Herron, and Rachel Davies, the mother of Sage Miller. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. If I did not say the name of someone you're remembering now, if you would rise and say their name out loud. And you can remain standing, and if I did mention a name and you're saying Kaddish for them, please rise. We also remember those who suffered their death today in Afghanistan while they were praying in their own mosque. Page 292. We rise and the mourners lead us in Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. V'alma divrach cherutei v'al michmal chutei. B'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei tekol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'vizman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivarach le'olam al me'al maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudusha brechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen.
Shalom. Ooh, yeah,
as we journey into our next week together, I invite you to turn to the row behind you or in front of you. Find someone you don't know, introduce yourself, and wish them a Shabbat Shalom. And Graham and Noah will come up and lead us in Kiddush. Graham and Noah, come on up.
Oh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen. Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav veratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinhilanu zikaron lema'aseh bereshit ki hu yom tehila lemikrai kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim Kivanu vaharta veltanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon hinhaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
And now you can uncover the challah and we'll join together. Don't worry, it's juice. We only use juice. Uncover the challah.
Baruch atah Eloheinu melech haolam Hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon.
You can go around and hand out some challah. And I just have a couple of announcements, and then we'll have our closing song. First of all, welcome to Dr. Josh Holo. I hear that you're here, but I can't see you. The Dean of the LA campus of HUC, Hebrew Union College Jewish Institute of Religion. You can go get your challah. Go. Don't worry about me. Remember to come Sunday night for the Women's Voices concert here in our sanctuary. Tuesday with Mari begins this Tuesday. It's with Dr. Leah Hochman on superhero Jews. And on Thursday, Rabbi Mari is also doing a book discussion on Catch 67. Join us for that as well. And please meet someone you don't know, have some challah, and join us in our closing song, Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom.